It was a quiet morning in a very big house. A house so big you could get lost in the hallway. Inside, an old man sat alone at the table. His name was Raymond. He was a billionaire, richer than anyone in the whole town. But right now, he didn't feel rich. He felt empty. Raymond was wearing a nice suit like always. His breakfast was on the table, eggs, toast, juice, but he didn't touch it. He just stared at the food. His birthday was today, 60 years old, no wife, no children, no family, just silence. He looked around. So many rooms, so many things, but no one to talk to. He picked up an old photo from the shelf. It was a picture of his mother smiling. "She died years ago," he whispered. "Mama, look at me now. I have everything, but still nothing." His phone buzzed. One message from his lawyer. Just business again. No one said happy birthday, not even one friend. Raymond laughed to himself, a sad, tired laugh. "Money talks," he said, "but it never says happy birthday." Suddenly, knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the door. Raymond looked up, confused. He wasn't expecting anyone. He walked slowly to the front door. Another knock came, this time louder. He opened the door with a hard face, ready to tell off whoever it was. But he froze. Standing there were 3 small children, all around 6 years old. One boy, 2 girls, big eyes, dusty shoes, tired faces. Then all 3 smiled wide and shouted, "Daddy!" Raymond stepped back. What? What did you just say?" The youngest girl held out a crumpled paper. It was a note. A name was written on it. Mariah. His hands began to shake. That name. He knew that name. Mariah. A girl from his past. A name he hadn't heard in almost 7 years. The boy spoke. "Mommy said if we ever found you, we should call you Daddy." Raymond's heart beat faster. He looked again. Their faces. Something felt familiar. A strange tightness grew in his chest. He couldn't speak. He just stood there, staring at the children. And then the oldest girl looked him in the eyes and said, "Mommy said you forgot us, but maybe you'll remember now." Raymond didn't know what to do. He looked left. He looked right. Then he looked back at the children. "Come in," he finally said, voice low and shaky. The triplets stepped inside the huge house. They looked around with wide eyes. Everything was big, shiny, clean. But they didn't touch anything. They stood close together, like scared puppies. Raymond sat down slowly. He stared at the paper in his hand. That name again. Mariah. He whispered, "Mariah. Why now?" The children sat on the edge of the couch. The boy held his sister's hands. They didn't speak until Raymond asked, "Where is your mother?" The youngest girl lowered her eyes. "She's gone." "Gone where?" he asked. "She's in heaven," the boy answered. Raymond leaned back, heart heavy. Dead? Mariah was dead? The oldest girl reached into a little backpack and pulled out a folded letter. "She told us to give this to you. Only you." Raymond took the letter. His fingers shook as he opened it. The letter was short, but every word cut deep. "Raymond, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. And yes, they are yours, your blood, your children. I raised them with love, but now they need more. Not money, a father. I never asked you for anything, but don't let them grow up thinking they were unwanted. Don't fail them, like you failed me." Mariah Raymond's throat felt tight. He stood up and walked to the window, back turned to the kids. His eyes filled with water. Flashbacks hit him hard. Mariah crying years ago, her hand on her stomach saying, "I'm pregnant," and him turning away saying, "It's not mine. You just want my money." He had walked away. He believed lies. He believed his brother, his family. They told him she was trapping him, that she was a gold digger. Now the truth was sitting on his couch. The triplets. He turned back to them. "Do you have anything else?" The boy nodded and pulled something from his pocket. A small paper, a lab result. It said DNA confirmed. Raymond stared at the paper. It was real. He whispered, "What have I done?" The oldest girl, voice soft, asked, "Are you really our dad?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. Not yet. Raymond sat at his big office desk, the DNA paper in his hand. He had read it 10 times already. It didn't change. The words stayed the same. They were his, the triplets, his children. He put the paper down and picked up his phone. He dialed a number. His lawyer answered. "I need to ask something," Raymond said, voice low. "Can a DNA test like this be faked?" There was a pause. "It's possible, but very hard." "Why?" "No reason," Raymond lied. "Just thinking." He hung up. He couldn't believe it. Part of him still didn't want to. He looked out the window. The kids were in the kitchen now, eating toast and fruit. His housekeeper had made them a snack. They were quiet, not laughing, just sitting close together. He walked toward the kitchen. They saw him and froze. "Is the food okay?" he asked. They nodded. "You can eat as much as you want," he said, trying to smile. The middle girl looked up. "Is this your house?" He nodded. "Yes, it's yours now, too." She whispered, "It's too big." Raymond sat at the table with them. He stared at the boy. His face, it reminded him of himself as a child. Same nose, same ears. He noticed something, a bruise on the boy's arm. "What happened there?" he asked, pointing. The boy looked away. The girls stayed silent. "Tell me, who did that?" After a long pause, the oldest girl said, "Our aunt." Raymond frowned. "What aunt?" The girl answered, "Aunt Carla, Mommy's sister-in-law." Raymond froze. Carla, his ex-sister-in-law, his brother's widow, a woman who once told him, "Mariah's kind will destroy your name." He stood up fast. "She was taking care of you?" The kids nodded. "She said Mommy was stupid, and we were bad luck," the boy added. Raymond's hands curled into fists. His mind raced. Carla lied to him. She said Mariah left town years ago, said she vanished. But now he knew the truth. Mariah didn't run away. She was pushed away. He stormed toward the front door, grabbing his coat. "Where are you going?" the middle girl asked. Raymond turned back, eyes full of fire. "To ask Carla why she tried to erase you." Raymond's car stopped hard in front of a fancy house on the hill. It was Carla's home. Big, clean, proud, just like her. He didn't knock. He walked straight to the door and pushed the bell with force. The maid opened it, surprised. "Mr. Raymond?" "Where is she?" Raymond said without smiling. In the garden." He walked through the house like he owned it, because once he did. Carla had lived off his family's money since his brother died. Always dressed perfect, always full of opinions. Carla sat in a chair, sipping tea and flipping a magazine. She looked up, smiled fake. "Well, this is a surprise," she said. "I bet it is," Raymond replied. Carla stood, fake shocked. "Oh my, is this about those children?" "You know it is," Raymond said, stepping closer. Carla dropped the act. "So they found you." He narrowed his eyes. "You knew?" Carla shrugged. "Of course I knew. I gave that girl money to disappear." "You gave Mariah money?" "She was nothing, Raymond. She would have dragged your name through dirt." "She was the mother of my children." "Exactly my point." Raymond's jaw tightened. "She died, Carla. She suffered, while you lived rich and clean." Carla didn't blink. "She made her choices." "No," Raymond snapped. "You made hers. You and your lies." Carla raised her voice. "I protected this family. You were always weak when it came to women like her." "You're not family anymore," he said. "And you'll pay for what you did." She laughed. "Oh, Raymond, you think dragging up the past will change anything? People forget poor girls. They remember power." Raymond turned to leave. "Not this time." As he walked away, Carla's smile dropped. She grabbed her phone. She dialed fast and whispered into the phone. "Plan B. The kids are with him now." Raymond came back home late that evening. The children were on the couch watching cartoons. The youngest had fallen asleep with her head on her sister's lap. For a moment, something warm passed through his chest. He stood by the door, just watching them. The house was quiet, but not lonely anymore. He walked into the kitchen, took a deep breath, and opened a drawer. He hadn't cooked in years, not once. But tonight he tried. He cracked eggs, burned one. The toast jumped out early. The kids peeked in and started laughing. "You're not very good at that," the boy said, smiling. "I never had to cook," Raymond replied, rubbing his head. The oldest girl walked in with a paper and crayons. "We made you something." She held it out. It was a drawing, a stick figure with gray hair and a big smile standing beside three kids. Above it, in wobbly handwriting, it said, "Best dad ever." Raymond held the paper, unable to speak. "It's okay if you don't know how to be a dad," the girl whispered. "Mommy said we'd teach you." Raymond smiled, but his eyes filled with water. He blinked fast. "I'm learning," he said softly. He walked to his private shelf and opened a small wooden box. Inside was a music box, one he hadn't touched in years. He wound it slowly. A soft tune began to play. The kids froze. "That song," one of the girls whispered. "Our mommy sang that to us every night," the boy said. Raymond's heart stopped. "She used to say," the girl added, "it was the song someone special once gave her." Raymond looked at the music box. He had given it to Mariah the first time they kissed. "I gave her this," he whispered. The music played gently. The children hummed with it. The youngest, still half asleep, whispered, "Mommy said, if you ever play that song, it means you love us." Raymond sat down slowly on the floor, holding the music box in one hand and the children in the other. He didn't speak, but for the first time in years, he felt something real. Far away from Raymond's house in a dark corner of the city, Carla sat with a man in a suit. His name was Elliot, Raymond's cousin, younger, hungry for money. He was supposed to be next in line for everything. Carla looked angry. "They're bonding. He's calling them his children now." Elliot slammed his glass down. "This ruins everything. He promised to put me in his will." Carla leaned forward. "If those kids stay, you get nothing. I lose everything." Elliot shook his head. "We need to move fast, before he changes the will." Carla smiled cold. "We don't have to hurt anyone. We just make him look bad." Elliot raised an eyebrow. "Like how?" "We'll call child services," Carla said. "Say he's unstable, drinking again, maybe even dangerous." Elliot paused, then nodded. "They'll take the kids. Once they're gone, he'll go quiet again." Carla sipped her drink. "And make sure the media hears it too. Billionaire hides secret children while mentally unstable." "Sounds like a juicy story." Elliot laughed. "That's evil," Carla smirked. "That's survival." Back at Raymond's house, things felt peaceful. The kids were now laughing, playing a small board game he found in a cabinet. Raymond sat nearby, watching them, heart full. "Do you want to play too, Daddy?" the boy asked. Raymond smiled. "Maybe after I get some coffee." He stood up and stretched. The house finally felt alive. For the first time, he was thinking about schools, clothes, bedtime stories, not stocks and business calls. Then, ding dong. The doorbell rang. Raymond checked the time. It was late, too late for visitors. He opened the door slowly. Two people stood outside, a man and a woman in suits. They showed their ID cards. "Good evening. We're from Child Protection Services," the woman said. "We've received a report." Raymond's face dropped. "What report?" "It says you have children in your home without legal guardianship," she said firmly. Raymond stepped outside. "They're my children." "Do you have legal proof?" she asked. "I'm their father," Raymond repeated. "Their mother? She's gone." "We'll need to speak to the children, sir." Raymond stood in the doorway, blocking them. The man said, "We can get a court order if needed." Raymond slowly stepped aside. "Let them talk to you. They've got nothing to hide." But inside, fear crept into his heart. The living room felt cold now. The air had changed. The three children sat close together on the couch. The two CPS officers sat across from them, notebooks in hand. Raymond stood nearby, arms crossed, trying to stay calm. "Do you feel safe here?" the woman asked softly. The boy nodded. "Yes." "Does Mr. Raymond ever yell or scare you?" "No," the oldest girl answered quickly. "He gives us toast, and he plays music." The younger officer took notes, watching closely. "Where is your mother?" the woman asked gently. The middle girl looked down. "She died." "I'm sorry," the officer said. "And who brought you here?" We found this house. Mommy told us where to go before she got sick, the boy explained. The officers exchanged a glance. Raymond stepped in. They came here with a letter from their mother. I have it. He handed them the note and the DNA results. They looked it over, but didn't say much. The woman finally spoke. These documents aren't legal custody. They're not enough to keep children in your care. Raymond's hands clenched. What does that mean? It means we'll be back in 2 days, she said. You have that time to prove legal guardianship. If not, we'll have to place them in temporary care. The youngest girl started to cry. No, she whispered. Don't take us. Raymond knelt beside her. No one's taking you. I promise, the officer stood. We're not here to scare you, sir, but we have to follow rules. Raymond nodded slowly. Then follow the truth. They belong with me. When the door closed behind them, silence filled the room. The children looked at him with wide eyes. Are they going to take us away? The boy asked. No, Raymond said firmly. I won't let that happen. But his heart was pounding. He sat down, pulled them close. I know this is scary, he said, but I'm going to fix everything. You're not alone anymore. The oldest girl asked in a whisper, why do people want to break us again? Raymond couldn't answer. His throat was tight. Later that night, after the children went to bed, Raymond sat at his desk again. He opened a drawer he hadn't touched in years. Inside was an old folder. On the front, written in faded ink, Mariah, closed case. He pulled it out slowly, whispering to himself, if you want answers, then I'll start here. Raymond opened the old folder. Dust floated into the air. Papers yellowed with time. His hands moved slowly, carefully, like he was opening a grave. Inside were letters, old ones, all from Mariah. He picked up the first one. It was dated 7 years ago. Raymond, I know you think I wanted your money, but I didn't. I wanted you. I wanted our child to know her father. Please don't shut me out. Don't believe what they say. He closed his eyes. He had never opened that letter before. It was marked returned to sender. The next one had a photo inside. Mariah, pregnant, working in a cafe, hair tied back, a forced smile. She looked tired, too tired for someone that young. He kept reading. I asked your brother for help. He laughed in my face. Carla told me to leave town if I cared about my baby. Raymond's jaw tightened. He read another. I'm sick now. The doctor says it's bad. But I can't stop working. The kids need food, rent. I'm scared, Raymond, so scared. But I won't let them feel unwanted, not like I did. He stopped. His heart felt heavy, like someone was pressing down on it. At the bottom of the folder was a tiny flash drive. He plugged it into his laptop. A voice recording started. It was Mariah. Her voice. Software weak, but clear. If you're hearing this, I guess I'm gone. Raymond, I never hated you. I just wished you had believed me. I named them after you. I raised them to be kind, even when the world was not. I didn't want money. I wanted a father for them. But now it's your turn. Don't fail them like you failed me. Raymond covered his mouth, tears rolling down his face. The screen glowed in the dark room. Her voice still echoed in the air. He whispered, I didn't know. I didn't know. He stood up and walked to the children's room. They were asleep, curled up together. He looked at them. His blood, his second chance. A quiet promise left his lips. I will protect you, from everyone, even the ones who share our name. He walked back to his office, face hard, eyes red. He picked up his phone. Jomo, he said, find Carla, and anyone who ever touched Mariah. We're not done yet. Early the next morning, Raymond stood in front of his mirror, buttoning his shirt slowly. His face looked older, tired. But something in his eyes had changed. He wasn't running anymore. He picked up the phone and called a number he hadn't used in years. A deep voice answered, Jomo speaking. I need you, Raymond said. It's serious. Jomo laughed. You finally found your backbone, old man? I found my kids, Raymond replied. Silence. Then Jomo said, send me everything. Raymond opened the laptop and forwarded the letters, the audio, the DNA files, everything. In less than an hour, Jomo showed up at the mansion. He was tall, quiet, smart, A private investigator who once worked with Raymond's father. Trusted, dangerous when needed. Jomo read the letters, listened to the recording, and nodded slowly. She tried to reach out. Carla made sure you never saw it. I want proof, Raymond said, and I want her buried, legally. Jomo cracked his knuckles. Let's begin. They started digging. Old phone records, bank transactions, security footage, hidden files. After 3 hours, Jomo found a small link. A payment made to a private hospital. 5 years ago. The sender, a fake charity. The receiver, Mariah. But the charity was connected to Carla's name. Raymond leaned forward. She paid the hospital. To do what? Jomo said. To control the care, keep her off the record, and maybe... He stopped. What? Raymond asked. Jomo looked serious. Maybe more than just care. Raymond stood, breathing hard. Find the doctor, find the nurse, find anyone who touched that file. Jomo nodded. That night, Raymond sat with the kids again. They played a simple card game, laughing, but his mind was somewhere else. He saw her in their faces now, the way they laughed, the way they looked at him when he smiled. They didn't hate him. They just wanted him there. After they slept, Jomo called again. I traced the account, he said. You won't like what I found. Tell me. It's tied to Carla, but guess who helped her set it up? Raymond's voice dropped. Who? Elliot. Raymond felt something break inside. His own cousin, his own blood, helping cover Mariah's suffering. His voice was cold now. Tomorrow we take the gloves off. Raymond sat alone in the dark, staring at the names Jomo had written down. Carla, Elliot, the fake charity, the hospital, all connected. But there was something that still didn't make sense. Mariah didn't just suffer. She disappeared too quickly, too quietly. And one reporter had asked a question he hadn't answered yet. What about the mother's mysterious death? He had to know. Raymond drove himself, no driver, no guards, to Mariah's old neighborhood, a small block in the poor part of town. Run-down houses, laundry hanging outside, people sitting on crates watching him closely as he stepped out of his car. He walked to the house where Mariah used to live, knocked. An old woman opened the door slowly. You're the rich man, she said. Mariah's man. Raymond nodded. Can we talk? She let him in. The house was small, warm, filled with the smell of old books and cooking oil. I tried to call you when she got sick, the old woman said, but your number changed. Your people blocked us. Raymond sat down, guilt heavy on his chest. She went to the hospital 3 times, the woman said. Each time, they sent her away, said her file was restricted. She cried so much the last night. Raymond leaned forward. Why was her file restricted? I don't know, she said. But one day, Carla came to the neighborhood, told Mariah to keep quiet or the kids would disappear. Raymond clenched his fists. She didn't want to die, the old woman said. She begged God, but by the time someone finally helped her, it was too late. Raymond whispered. She was trying to protect them, the woman nodded, and she never stopped loving you. Before he left, the woman handed him a small notebook. It's her journal, she said. She wrote everything, even the days you never came. Back in his car, Raymond opened it. One line stood out. If anything happens to me, ask Carla. She knows what fear tastes like. Raymond stared at the page for a long time. He turned the key, engine roaring. But before he could drive off, he saw something strange in the rearview mirror. A shadow. Then a quick flash. Someone had slashed one of his tires. He got out fast. Too late. A small note had been left on his windshield. Big letters, all uppercase. Stop digging or lose everything. Raymond's hands shook, but not from fear, from rage. He took out his phone and called Jomo. They're watching me now, he said. Jomo answered, calm. Then let's watch them back. Raymond didn't sleep that night. He sat by the children's door with a chair, making sure no one came near. Every sound in the hallway made him stand up and listen. The note on his windshield had changed everything. This wasn't just family drama now. It was war. The next morning, Jomo came early. He brought 2 new things, a USB drive and a list of names. I traced Carla's money again, Jomo said, And this time, I found where it really went. Where? Raymond asked. A private clinic outside the city. Mariah was there, the last month before she died. Raymond's eyes narrowed. And? She wasn't treated. She was drugged. Raymond froze. What? Jomo nodded. The clinic's files say she was under sedation most days. No pain meds, no therapy, just sleep shots. Raymond whispered, she was being silenced. Worse, Jomo said, she was being erased. Raymond felt sick. By Carla? Carla paid the clinic through a fake nonprofit. Elliot set it up. The money came from your family trust account. Raymond looked away. So I paid for her death. No, Jomo said. They used your name. That's different. Raymond stood up. We go public. Not yet, Jomo said. We need one more thing. A face. Someone who saw it. Raymond looked at him. You have one? I found a nurse, Jomo said. She left the clinic 2 years ago. Scared. She's ready to talk. They met the nurse in a small diner. She was young, nervous, kept looking over her shoulder. I remember Mariah, she said. She begged us to stop, but the orders were strict. Only Carla and the head doctor could approve changes. Was she sick? Raymond asked. Yes, but not dying. Not until they stopped helping her. Raymond sat back in silence. The nurse slid over a tiny flash drive. She gave this to me before she passed, she said. Told me to give it to someone who actually cared. Raymond took it slowly. Back home, he watched the video. It was Mariah, pale, weak, lying in bed, looking straight at the camera. If this is the end, then so be it. But if you see this, Raymond, please protect them. Don't let Carla win. Don't let her turn them into ghosts like me. Raymond sat there, hands shaking. He didn't cry. He burned. He picked up the phone and called his lawyer. Prepare custody paper, he said, and a lawsuit. I'm taking Carla and Elliot to court. Raymond stood in front of his tall glass window, watching the city far below. His mind wasn't on business deals or meetings anymore. It was on war, a war for truth, for blood, for those 3 little kids asleep in the next room. His lawyer arrived with a thick stack of papers. This is the custody filing, she said, and the first lawsuit, one against Carla, one against Elliot, both tied to fraud, conspiracy, and wrongful death. Raymond took the pen, signed each page without blinking. They'll come at you hard, the lawyer warned. This isn't just family now. This is criminal. Raymond nodded. Let them come. Later that day, Elliot opened his office door and froze. A man handed him a thick envelope. You've been served, the man said, and walked off. Elliot ripped it open, reading fast. His hands began to shake. No, this isn't real. He picked up his phone and called Carla. They know everything, he shouted. The clinic, the money, everything. Carla's voice was cold. Stay calm. I'm going to jail. Not if we flip the story first, she said. We make Raymond look unstable, dangerous, like a crazy old man grabbing kids. But he has proof, Elliot whispered. Then we bury it. Back at Raymond's house, things were calm. The kids were coloring pictures. Raymond sat beside them, helping the youngest draw a tree. Can we go to school now? She asked softly. Raymond smiled. Soon, but not just any school. A good one. The best. They giggled and hugged him tight. Later, in a quiet moment, Raymond sat them all down. I want you to know something, he said. I didn't do right in the past. I hurt your mom. I was wrong. They listened quietly. But now I'm here. I won't leave again. The boy asked, Are we your real family now? Raymond nodded. Yes, you are my only family now. That night the house was peaceful, but peace never lasts long. At 3 a.m., a window creaked open in the hallway. Wind blew through the curtains. Raymond woke up to a strange feeling. He walked to the kids' room. The beds were empty. Sheets on the floor, one small shoe near the open window. Raymond's heart stopped. He ran through the house shouting, Lila! Troymia! Nothing. The front gate was open. A note lay on the floor where the kids had been. It read, You wanted war. Now it's war. Raymond ran through every hallway, barefoot, shouting their names. Troy, Lila, MIA. His voice echoed through the house like a storm. Nothing. The children were gone. He opened every door, checked every closet, every corner. Empty. The housekeeper ran out of her room, eyes wide. Sir, what happened? They're gone, Raymond shouted. They took them. Who? She asked, panicked. I don't know yet, he snapped. He grabbed the house phone and called security. Check the cameras, check the gates. No one leaves until I say. He rushed outside in his robe. The wind was cold, but his blood was burning. The front yard was quiet, too quiet. He found something near the gate, a child's shoe, his daughter's. His hands started to shake. No, no. Then he saw it, a black envelope on the front step. He picked it up, opened it with trembling fingers. Inside, you said they're your family now. Let's see if you'll fight for them. See. Carla, he growled. He called Jomo immediately. They took them, all three. Carla did it. Jomo was silent for 1 second. Then, I'll find the van. Give me 5 minutes. Raymond's chest heaved. I'm going after her myself. No, Jomo warned. Don't move. They're watching you. I don't care, Raymond barked. Those are my kids. 10 minutes later, Jomo called again. I traced a black van near your property using traffic cams. It left at 3:12 a.m., headed east. Guess who owns the vehicle? Carla? Raymond said. No, Jomo replied. Elliot. Raymond's whole body went cold. Elliot? He said slowly. Jomo's voice was hard. They're working together. We have a location. Where? Raymond asked. A farmhouse on the edge of town. Abandoned. Old property under Carla's maiden name. Raymond walked to his car. I'm going, he said. Wait for backup. No, Raymond cut him off. I lost Mariah. I'm not losing them. As Raymond started the car, thunder rolled in the distance. He gripped the wheel with both hands. A voice echoed in his mind. Mariah's voice from the recording. Don't let them suffer like I did. He hit the gas and didn't look back. Raymond's car raced through the empty road. The sky above was dark, no stars, no moon. Just anger in the air. His hands gripped the wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. His phone buzzed. Jomo was calling again. They're inside that farmhouse, Jomo said. I got confirmation. Anyone else there? One man guarding the front, maybe more inside. No police yet. I can call them. Raymond shook his head. Not yet. He hung up. A few minutes later, he saw it. A broken-down fence, a crooked mailbox, and a light coming from inside an old rotting farmhouse. He turned off the headlights and parked behind the trees. He got out slowly. No weapons. Just his fists in his fury. He crept toward the back of the house. Boards creaked under his feet. Then he saw a man by the front door, holding a walkie-talkie. Raymond picked up a rock, waited, then tossed it far toward the woods. The guard turned. Raymond ran fast, silent. One hit to the head. The man dropped. He rushed inside. His heart pounded in his ears. He opened the first door, empty. Second door, dusty chairs and ropes. Then he heard it, a whimper. He moved faster, opened the third door, and froze. The triplets were inside, hands tied, duct tape across their mouths. Eyes full of fear. They looked up, and when they saw him, they started to cry behind the tape. He rushed over, pulling it off gently. Daddy, they shouted. I'm here, he said, holding them close. I'm here now. Suddenly, click, the sound of a gun behind him. Don't move. He turned slowly. It was Carla, hair wild, eyes sharp, holding a pistol with both hands. You should have just left it alone, she said. You kidnapped children, Raymond said through his teeth. They were never yours, Carla hissed. Mariah was a stain. Those kids are a stain. They don't belong in our bloodline. Raymond stepped in front of the children. They're more my blood than you ever were. Carla's hand trembled. I built this family. You just inherited it. Raymond took a slow breath. Let them go, Carla. Please. Suddenly, a loud crash from behind her. Jomo tackled her to the ground. The gun went off. Bang! Raymond felt a hot sting across his arm. The kids screamed, but Carla was on the floor now, yelling as Jomo pinned her down. "It's over!" Jomo shouted. Raymond looked at his arm, grazed but not deep. He turned to the children. "It's okay," he whispered, hugging them. "It's over." Outside, police sirens began to rise in the distance, but Carla kept screaming. "You think this ends with me? You're not clean either, Raymond. You're not clean." The farmhouse was full of noise now. Sirens, footsteps, and shouts from outside. Police cars lit up the night. Inside, Raymond sat on the floor, one arm around the kids, the other holding his bleeding arm. The cut stung, but he didn't care. Carla lay face down, handcuffed, cursing under her breath. Jomo stood over her, breathing hard. "You just made it worse," she laughed. "He thinks he's a hero now." Raymond looked at her. "I'm not a hero. I'm a father." Officers rushed in, weapons drawn. They scanned the room and nodded at Raymond. "We got your call," one said to Jomo. "We'll take it from here." They pulled Carla to her feet. "You'll pay for this," she whispered to Raymond as they dragged her away. He didn't answer. His focus was on the triplets, hugging them, checking them. "Did they hurt you?" he asked softly. They shook their heads. The oldest girl held his hand tight. "We were so scared." "I know," he said, voice cracking. "But you were strong, just like your mom." Outside, the media had already arrived. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. "Mr. Raymond, is it true those are your secret children? Is Carla really behind this?" Raymond didn't speak. He just carried the youngest in his arms, the others by his side, and walked straight to the car. As they drove off, the children leaned on him, slowly falling asleep. For once, they weren't afraid. Raymond looked at Jomo, who sat beside him in the back seat. "You saved us," Raymond said quietly. Jomo shook his head. "You saved yourself, old man. You just needed a reason." Raymond looked down at the kids. "I had 3. When they reached home, nurses and guards were waiting. Raymond's arm was bandaged. The kids were checked and tucked into bed. He stood outside their room for a long time, watching them sleep. Finally, he whispered, "I failed your mother." "I won't fail you." Then he turned and walked to his office. He picked up the phone and called his lawyer. "I want full custody," he said, "and I want to press charges." The lawyer was silent for a moment. "You're sure?" "Yes," Raymond said firmly. "And tomorrow, we go public." Morning came with cameras. Raymond stood in front of his house in a clean shirt and bandaged arm. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. The world needed to see the truth, not charm. Reporters crowded outside the gate, microphones pointed like weapons. He stepped up to a small podium and spoke into the mic. "My name is Raymond Cole," he said. "Many of you know me as a billionaire. But today I speak as something more important, a father." The crowd quieted. "I have 3 children. They are real. They are mine. And yes, I failed their mother. Years ago, I was a coward. I turned away from love because of pride, because of lies." He looked into the cameras. "But I won't turn away again. I'm fighting now, not for business, not for image, but for family." Behind him, the triplets peeked through the window, holding each other. "I'm taking legal action against Carla Lawson and Elliot Cole for kidnapping, fraud, and conspiracy. And I will fight for justice for Mariah Bennett, the mother of my children, whose life was destroyed by the people I once trusted." Reporters shouted questions. Raymond didn't answer. He stepped down and walked back inside. The crowd exploded. Inside, his lawyer waited. "We have a court date," she said, 3 weeks from now, but be ready. Carla and Elliot won't go quietly." "They already went too far," Raymond replied. "I'll handle them." Meanwhile, at the city jail, Carla sat in an interrogation room. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She stared at the wall with cold eyes. Elliot sat across from her. "This is bad," he whispered. "Raymond's going to crush us." Carla smirked. "He's emotional. He'll slip." "He has the kids, Carla." "Then we attack where it hurts," she said. "Make him look crazy. Say he's using the kids for sympathy." Elliot frowned. "You think that'll work?" Carla leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "I don't care if it works. I just want him to suffer." Back at the mansion, the triplets were playing in the garden. Raymond watched from the balcony, arms crossed. Jomo joined him. You think they'll be okay? Raymond asked. They already are, Jomo said. They have you now. Raymond nodded, but deep inside, he knew the courtroom was coming, and in court, truth wasn't enough. You needed proof. You needed fire. And this time, Raymond had both. The day was quiet. The kids were at home playing with puzzles in the living room. Raymond sat nearby, pretending to read, but his mind wasn't in the book. His eyes kept drifting to the front door, the windows, his phone, waiting for something. Then it came, a knock on the door. Raymond opened it slowly. Outside stood a woman. Long coat, hood up. She didn't say a word, but he knew her face. Not Mariah, someone else, yet similar. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a necklace. Small, simple, with the letter M on it. Raymond's heart stopped. That necklace belonged to Mariah. The woman whispered, "She told me you'd come looking one day." Raymond blinked. Who are you?" "Eliza," she said. "Mariah's cousin." He opened the door wider, shocked. "Why didn't you ever come forward?" "I was scared." "We all were," she said, "but now I've seen enough." They sat in the kitchen, away from the kids. Eliza placed a small envelope on the table. "She gave this to me before she died," Eliza said. "Told me to keep it safe. Told me to give it to you if something ever happened to her." Raymond opened it slowly. Inside was a photo. Mariah holding all 3 babies. Her face looked tired, but full of love. And behind the photo, a short note in Mariah's handwriting. "If Eliza gives you this, it means I trusted her with everything, and I still trust you. They're yours. Love them like I did. Protect them like I couldn't." Raymond's throat tightened. Eliza looked down. "She was in trouble, Raymond. Real trouble. Not just from your family, from people she testified against." Raymond frowned. "Testified?" Eliza nodded. "Mariah once worked at a place owned by a criminal. She saw something, reported it, and after that she ran, changed names, hid, even while pregnant." Raymond leaned back in shock. "Why didn't she tell me?" "She tried," Eliza said. "Carla stopped her. Every letter, every call, every visit, blocked. Mariah said Carla knew people, bad people." Raymond felt a chill run through him. "She wasn't just poor, Raymond," Eliza said softly. "She was hunted." He looked down at the necklace. "She protected those kids with everything she had," Eliza added. "Now it's your turn." Raymond stood, his jaw tight. "Then I'll burn the world to keep them safe." Outside the kitchen, the children peeked in, curious. They saw Raymond holding the necklace, and for a second, they smiled, because something about that necklace felt like home. Later that night, Raymond sat in his office with Eliza. Papers were spread all over the desk. Letters, pictures, and legal files. Jomo joined them, his face serious. "This wasn't just family betrayal," Jomo said, flipping through the documents. "Mariah was on a witness list 6 years ago. She testified against a man named Vincent Rojas, real estate guy, quiet face, dirty money." "She never told me," Raymond said, shaking his head. "She carried all this alone." "She didn't want the kids dragged into it," Eliza added. "She kept moving. That's why you could never find her. But Carla knew. She used that fear to control her." Jomo pulled out a copy of a sealed government file. "This man, Vincent, he was never arrested. Too many friends in high places. But Mariah filed a written complaint. Carla made sure it disappeared. That's what this fake charity was for, to move dirty money under the radar." Raymond sat back. "So Carla didn't just hide the kids. She helped cover up a criminal." "And maybe helped silence Mariah for good," Jomo said quietly. Eliza looked up. "There's something else." She pulled out a small notebook. Inside were more of Mariah's journal pages. She wrote down everything, places she went, people she feared, even doctors who ignored her. "There's one note. Look," Raymond read aloud. "They gave me something new this week. Makes me tired. I asked what it was. They said it's for peace of mind. But I don't feel peaceful. I feel like I'm fading." Raymond clenched the page. "They were drugging her." Jomo nodded. "That's why she never came back out of that clinic." Raymond stood up. "I want that clinic shut down. I want Vincent exposed. I want Carla and Elliot buried legally. And I want full control of my children's future. Jomo smiled for the first time that night. Now you're sounding like a father. Just then, the youngest triplet walked into the room, holding her teddy bear. Daddy, she whispered. Raymond knelt. What's wrong, baby? I had a dream Mommy was crying. He held her tight. She's not crying now. I promise, she hugged him. You'll keep us forever, right? Forever, he said. When she left the room, Jomo placed a flash drive on the table. What's that? Raymond asked. Footage from the clinic. One camera still worked. You'll want to see this. Raymond plugged it in. The screen showed a hallway. Then it showed Mariah being wheeled into a dark room, and right behind her stood Carla, smiling. Raymond stared at the screen, his face frozen. The clinic footage played in silence, but the message was loud. Carla walked calmly behind Mariah's wheelchair. She whispered something into Mariah's ear. Mariah flinched, tried to turn her head. A nurse pushed her forward. Jomo paused the video. You see her smile, he said. That's not a nurse's smile. That's power. Carla was in control. Raymond stood slowly. She watched her die. Jomo nodded. Now we can prove it. He handed Raymond a new folder. We pulled Vincent Rojas's financial records. Every fake charity, every hidden payment. Carla and Elliot were laundering his money, and when Mariah spoke up, they shut her down. Raymond opened the file. Every page was a nail in their coffin. They used my name, my trust, he whispered. They made me part of it. No, Jomo said. They made you a weapon. You just never knew. Raymond clenched his jaw. That ends now. Eliza returned with more files from the clinic. There's a retired nurse willing to testify. She remembers Mariah begging for help. Says Mariah screamed Carla's name the night before she died. Raymond turned to his lawyer. Is that enough for court? More than enough, she said. We'll go in not just for custody, but criminal charges. Raymond looked out the window. The kids were outside in the garden playing under the sunset. They don't even know what was taken from them, he said. They will, Eliza said, but not today. Let them be children. Raymond nodded. They deserve that. Jomo walked over. There's one more name in the file. Someone still active. Someone still working with Vincent. Guess who? Tell me, Raymond said. Jomo handed him a printed photo. Raymond's eyes went cold. It was a current image of Elliot, shaking hands with Vincent Rojas in a fancy restaurant. They're still partners, Jomo said. Still laundering, still lying. Raymond whispered. He helped kill Mariah, and he's still eating steak. He turned to his lawyer. Add Vincent to the charges and freeze all accounts tied to the family trust. No more hiding, no more silence. Outside, the kids laughed and chased each other. The sound hit his heart like music and knives all at once. Then a car drove by slowly. Black windows, no plates. Raymond's eyes followed it. Jomo stepped beside him. They're watching? Let them, Raymond said. Let them see what a real father looks like. The night fell fast, but Raymond couldn't sleep. He stood by the window, lights off, watching the street below. The black car hadn't come back, but the silence now felt like a warning, not peace. His phone rang. Jomo's voice came through. They tried to run. Who? Raymond asked. Elliot and Vincent. Private jet, scheduled under fake names. Police stopped them at the airfield. Raymond closed his eyes. And? They're in custody. Carla's screaming about lies. Elliot's crying like a child. Raymond gave a weak laugh. Let them scream. He hung up. Then he opened his laptop. Every file, every image, every voice note. He organized them in folders. Mariah, children, clinic, lies, proof, justice. At sunrise, his lawyer came to the mansion. We're ready, she said. Everything's filed. Court date is confirmed. Raymond nodded. Let's finish this. Before they left, he sat with the children. He looked into their small, sleepy eyes. I have to go to court today, he said, to protect our home, our family. The boy asked, will we have to leave again? Raymond shook his head. Not ever again. They hugged him tight, and for the first time, he didn't feel like a visitor in their life. He felt like a father. At the courthouse, media filled the steps. Journalists shouted questions, but Raymond walked through the noise like it didn't exist. Inside, Carla sat at the defendant's table, hair pulled back, eyes cold, no smile. Elliot beside her, pale and sweating. Vincent across the room whispering to his lawyer. Raymond sat down, calm, strong, ready. The judge entered and banged the gavel. This court is now in session for the case of Raymond Cole versus Carla Lawson, Elliot Cole, and Vincent Rojas. Raymond's lawyer stood. We will prove beyond doubt that the defendants committed fraud, conspiracy, and emotional and physical harm to Mariah Bennett and her children. We will show their abuse of power, their lies, and their attempt to erase 3 innocent lives. Raymond looked ahead, steady, silent. The fight wasn't over, but the truth was no longer buried. The courtroom was packed, every seat filled, reporters squeezed into corners, even strangers sat quiet, waiting to hear what the rich man and his family were fighting over. Raymond sat straight, dressed in a simple black suit. His face was calm, but his heart was loud. The judge looked around. This is a family case with criminal layers. You will all speak with care. Children are involved. Raymond nodded. The prosecutor stood first, a firm woman with sharp eyes. She spoke with a clear voice. We have evidence showing that Carla Lawson and Elliot Cole conspired with a known criminal, Vincent Rojas, to hide, harm, and silence Mariah Bennett. We will show records, witnesses, and financial trails. This isn't just family betrayal. This is organized abuse. Carla rolled her eyes. Elliot wiped sweat from his forehead. Vincent didn't move. Then the prosecutor showed the first video, the clinic footage. The screen lit up with Mariah in a wheelchair, Carla following behind her. The room went still. The prosecutor said, "This was 2 days before Mariah died. The woman pushing her, we now know, was not part of the clinic staff. It was Carla Lawson." Gasps filled the room. Raymond kept his eyes forward. Then Jomo was called to the stand. He laid out the full investigation, the fake charity, the bank records, the nurse testimony, the witness journal from Eliza, the video messages, every brick of truth. Piece by piece, the walls Carla built started to crack. Then the judge asked, "Mr. Raymond, would you like to say something?" He stood slowly and walked to the front. He didn't bring notes. He didn't need them. He looked straight ahead and said, "I let people lie to me. I turned away from a woman who loved me. I lost her. But I won't lose our children. I won't let her story die in silence." He paused. "My cousin helped cover up her pain. My former sister-in-law helped erase her from history. And the man sitting in the back made money off her death. But not anymore." He turned to the judge. "I am not here for revenge. I am here for justice. For Mariah, for my children, and for every poor woman who was told her voice didn't matter." The courtroom was silent. Then the judge said, "We will take a short break before defense speaks." As Raymond sat down, Carla leaned toward her lawyer and whispered, "He thinks this is over." Her lawyer asked, "Isn't it?" Carla gave a cold smile. "Number not yet." The judge returned to the bench. Courtroom came to order. Now it was Carla's turn. Her lawyer stood, tall and proud, pretending calm. "We admit the relationship between the parties was complicated," he began, "but what we see here is a case built on emotion, not law." He turned to the jury box. "Mr. Raymond abandoned Mariah Bennett 7 years ago. He ignored her letters, ignored her calls, and now he's playing hero, because the world is watching." Raymond didn't move. Carla's lawyer pulled out a printed email. This email from 2018, Mariah begging Raymond to visit her. No reply. He pulled another, a rejected call record. 2 minutes before she entered the clinic, people in the courtroom shifted in their seats. Carla sat straight, calm, watching. Her lawyer said, "Ladies and gentlemen, what if this isn't justice? What if this is guilt? A man trying to clean up his shame by claiming children he didn't raise?" He walked across the floor. "Mariah is gone. We can't ask her. We only hear her through edited recordings. What if she changed her mind? What if she never wanted the kids in this man's care?" Raymond's lawyer stood up. "Objection, speculation, sustained," the judge said. "Stick to facts." Carla's lawyer smirked, then pointed at Raymond. "Mr. Cole has a history, Anger issues in college, drinking after his father died, no record of parenting, no proof he was ever present in Mariah's life after her pregnancy. The courtroom held its breath. Maybe, the lawyer added, he's not the hero. Maybe he's just the last one left. Raymond kept still, jaw tight. Then Carla stood up, without permission. The judge shouted, "Ms. Lawson, sit down." But she spoke anyway. "They were never meant to be part of this world," she said, voice rising. "Mariah was a mistake. She tricked him. Those kids are mistakes too." The crowd gasped. The judge banged the gavel. "Order! Sit down or be removed!" Carla's voice cracked now, louder. "He ruined everything. That fortune was supposed to stay clean, not given to street rats." Officers moved toward her. She yelled one last time as they pulled her back. "I should have left them in the streets where they belonged." Raymond turned away, eyes closed. The courtroom was shaken. Some people whispered. Some cried. The judge looked out at the room. "This case just changed," he said, "and we will continue tomorrow with closing arguments." As everyone stood, reporters rushed out the doors. Outside, the news was already breaking. Carla Lawson melts down in court, calls triplets street rats. Inside the hallway, Raymond stood with Jomo. "She broke herself," Jomo said. Raymond didn't smile. "She just showed the world who she really is." The courtroom was quiet again, but this time it wasn't tense. It was still, like everyone knew what was about to happen. The judge returned, a thick file in front of him. His glasses rested low on his nose as he read slowly, carefully. Raymond sat holding a photo in his hand, the one of Mariah with the newborn triplets. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He just waited. Carla sat like stone, pale, silent, eyes empty. Elliot looked down at his hands, shaking. Vincent? Gone cold. No smirk left. The judge cleared his throat. "This court has reviewed hours of video, testimony, and documentation. What started as a family matter has revealed deep criminal actions, betrayal, abuse of power, and targeted harm." He looked at Carla first. "Carla Lawson, you are found guilty of conspiracy, manipulation of medical care, obstruction of justice, and emotional abuse toward minors. You will be remanded to custody for formal sentencing." Carla didn't react, just stared ahead like a broken doll. Then the judge turned to Elliot. "Elliot Cole, for your role in fraud and aiding the suppression of medical aid, you are also found guilty. You will be fined, stripped from all family assets, and face probation under investigation." Elliot finally cried, soft and quiet. Then came Vincent. "Vincent Rojas, you are officially under federal review. Your businesses will be frozen. You are to remain in holding until full charges are processed." Vincent exhaled hard, the first breath he had taken all day. Then the judge turned to Raymond. "Mr. Raymond Cole." The courtroom held its breath. "You are hereby granted full legal custody of the minors known as Troy Bennett, Mia Bennett, and Lila Bennett. This court recognizes your paternity and your demonstrated willingness to protect and provide. Their names may be legally changed at your request." Raymond blinked fast. The lawyer beside him squeezed his arm. He stood up slowly. "I only want one thing," he said, "to go home. With my kids." The judge nodded once. "Then this court stands adjourned." Bang! The gavel fell, and just like that, it was done. Outside the courthouse, the world waited. Reporters shouted. Cameras flashed. But when Raymond walked out, holding all three children by the hand, he didn't stop to answer a single question. He just walked to the car. At the door, a reporter asked quietly, "What now, Mr. Cole?" Raymond looked down at his kids, all smiling, all safe. He turned back. "We go home." The mansion felt different now. It wasn't just a house full of rooms and echoes. It had life. Laughter, little footsteps running up and down the stairs, crayons rolling across floors, teddy bears left in chairs, cereal spilled on the counter, and a man who used to be alone, now learning how to be something better, a father. Raymond stood in the living room, placing a new photo on the shelf. It was of the triplets, taken just 2 days ago. All three of them smiling in front of the garden, holding the family dog. Beside it, he placed another picture. Mariah, her smile still soft, still strong. He whispered, "They're okay now. I kept my word." In the kitchen, the kids were baking cookies with the housekeeper. Raymond walked in, rolled up his sleeves, and joined them. The flower fight that followed was a disaster, but it was perfect. Later that night, he tucked each child into their bed, kissed their foreheads, listened to their small voices say, "Good night, Daddy." Before he turned off the lights, the youngest asked, "Will we always stay here?" Raymond smiled. "As long as you want." The boy whispered, "Mommy would have liked this house." "She would have loved it," Raymond said, "because you're here." He closed the door gently. Back in his office, he stared at an old folder, the one that once said, "Mariah, closed case." He crossed out the words with a black marker, then wrote, "Mariah, never forgotten." He opened a letter on his desk, an official paper for a new foundation, the Mariah Bennett Foundation, for mothers with no one to fight for them. He signed it quietly, then walked to the balcony. The night was calm. No fear, no watching cars, no locked gates, just stars. Jomo joined him with a cup of tea. "You did it," he said. Raymond nodded. "She did most of it. I just finished the story." Inside the house, the kids were sleeping. A lullaby played softly from their room. It was the same music box from years ago, still playing Mariah's song. Raymond closed his eyes, letting the sound carry him. Then as he turned to go inside, he heard the quietest voice behind him, the oldest triplet. She had come to the door holding her drawing pad. She looked up at him. "You're not just our daddy," she said. Raymond smiled. "No?" She shook her head. "You're our hero." He knelt and pulled her close. "No," he whispered. "You saved me first." They stood there for a moment, just the two of them, under a sky full of stars. No more lies, no more secrets. Just a father, and the family he never knew he needed.